Afternoon. Right, you might hear bleeps and blings going off because the scum Met police have just basically brutally attacked totally peaceful protesters in London. So Twitter's getting a bit busy. Right. Oh, by the way, I never got to the end of that article yesterday. The two WPCs or PCs or whatever you would call them now, they both got a final written warning because, of course, depending how long this has been going on, that'll probably come off the record in 6 months. So they'll be free to do stupid things again. River Churnet and Captain Chaos. Listen, if you're going to try and insult me and stuff, I mean, this is really the last time I'm going to mention you because you're a pair of twats, to be honest. But try and tell the truth, right? You haven't actually told the truth once when you've had a go at me at something I've said or something I've done. So just try and tell the truth. I mean, it only points more to the fact that you're probably coppers because that's all coppers do is fucking lie about everything. Right, Matt Ratana was shot in the chest. This is what we're hearing. I'm only going to quote on stuff that's been on the news. The gunman suspect, whoever the guy in custody, apparently had his hands handcuffed behind his back, and they'd missed a gun when they searched him. No, never going to fucking happen. Right? For his hands to be tied behind his back and for him to be able to pull the gun out and shoot someone, shoot anyone, shoot at anything, right? There's only one place it could have been, other than the holster, a secured holster, which obviously would leave its own tracks. It would be quite obvious it was there. Which would be down the back of the waistband of his trousers or jeans or whatever the fuck, We haven't seen this guy, I don't think, so we don't know what he was wearing. On entrance into the custody suite reception, desk sergeant, I believe he'd been acting as, Ratana, would have asked if the suspect had been searched. I know this because I've been there myself, because they kept on coming round here unlawfully fucking arresting me. And yes, I've still got this fucking cold. So, yeah, he would have been asked if he'd been searched, to which the reply would have been yes and blah, 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 and this is his property and etc. and so forth. But this is where the problem starts. Even assuming there was a gun that had been missed, and even assuming the suspect with handcuffs on, handcuffed behind his back could get that gun out, there is no way in the law of fucking physics that he could then have shot Sergeant Ratana in the chest, because it's also been stated that Sergeant Ratana at the time was busy taking his temperature for COVID-19 checks, and that's done with a temperature gun, because I've had it done myself, pointed at the forehead. So Sergeant Ratana would have had to be standing directly in front of him. So this is a stitch up. I knew that. In fact, I saw a couple of people on Facebook yesterday raising the old false flag straight away. But I knew that as soon as they started coming out this morning with his handcuffs behind his back and everything. I knew something was fucking off. And then we found out that Sergeant Ratana is about to retire. He's done his 30 years. It's only a couple of months or whatever till he toddles off to Civilian Street. So he's seen something, he's heard something, maybe he's even got some evidence. But he knows some bent coppers, and someone knows he's going to spill the beans. Sergeant Ratana was murdered by Met police officers. And I can almost guarantee you they'll lose all that footage from the sales reception, because that's exactly what they did with me as well when they locked me up for the entire weekend completely unlawfully because I questioned the validity of the arrest. They like losing things and they like murdering people, let's face it. And it'll be one of their little gangs of five or six people, 7 people maybe, who often work on the same shift and have all the secrets. They even featured this in fucking Emmerdale, for Christ's sake. Bent coppers. and they'll lose the evidence, and they'll all tell the same story. And of course, the suspect, or whoever he is, he was shot as well. Because apparently, after doing the impossible, and apparently shooting Sergeant Ratana in the chest, he then managed to turn the gun on himself. Which if he'd even managed to shoot Sergeant Ratana, it'd have been rather impossible for him to then do the latter and injure himself, because he's apparently still in hospital. But odds on, either he never existed, or he's been set up and paid off, and now they've paid him off, so to speak. And he'll die, and they'll lose all the evidence. Yeah, so there you go.